So for the past 4 years, everyone in the media has been trying to convince you that there is this anti-Semitism problem in the Labour Party, but they were never able to produce a smoking gun. However, John Bercow has come out with this in a very recent interview, and I think this speaks volumes to the party you have just elected, because this doesn't just make reference to a problem of anti-Semitism in the Tory party, but also a classist problem. The fact that they do not want poor people from a working class background to be MPs. So one thing I really do worry about is, at the moment, I think it costs something about 500. Is it £500 you have to stump up to be an MP? What if they decide to stump up, let's say, more? Now, this becomes a problem of access to actually engaging with democracy. This is an actual serious problem. But before we get on to stuff like that, let's go into what Bercow had to say on this. So this comes from Evolve Politics. So, the recently retired Speaker of the House of Commons, John Bercow, has made the astonishing revelation that one of his fellow Tory MPs once warned him that Jewish people, like himself, should be banned from Parliament. In an exclusive interview with The Times, the former Tory Speaker said that the only anti-Semitism he ever experienced in the House of Commons was directed at him from his own Conservative Party colleagues. In addition to saying that Jews should be banned from Parliament, Bercow's Tory colleague also told him that lower classes shouldn't be allowed to become MPs. Asked about his experience with the anti-Jewish racism in Parliament, Bercow told The Times, "In 22 years, I have never experienced anti-Semitism from a member of the Labour Party, but I did experience anti-Semitism from members of the Conservative Party. Bercow was then asked how many times before replying, "It's very difficult to put a figure on it. A lot was subtle. I remember a member saying, if only I had my way, Bercow and people like you wouldn't be allowed in this place." And I said, "Sorry, when you say people like me, do you mean lower class or Jewish?" To which he replied, "Both." During the interview, the former Speaker also expanded on his decision to serve as the Secretary for the anti-immigration, pro-repatriation Conservative Monarchy Club, stating, "Here I was, a Jewish boy, standing up to racists. It was an appalling decision." Sorry, it was an appealing decision, sorry. Yeah, it was an appealing decision. So I'm actually glad that he's on that thing, because he can actually now generally stand up to people using genuine rhetoric of racism, and I'm glad that he has actually decided to stand for that position. Someone who is both from a lower class and a ethnic background, or well, it's a religious background in this case, should have every opportunity to stand as a member of Parliament. Doing this is the most, the fact that seems to be a core theme, and said quite freely and openly in the Tory party, should worry so many people. It is an absolutely, not only an appalling anti-Semitic thing to say, but it should worry everyone to the core. Because what if out there, our potential next Prime Minister comes from a lower class, working class background? How is he now meant to get into that position if the Tories should one day start to pass laws to make it mean that people from those lower class backgrounds can't get in, because they don't want those people getting in, because they know the exact type of things that they want to vote for. And it's the exact type of things that they don't want to vote for themselves, which basically means looking after the poor, the lower classes, investing long term in strong economic projects, investing in local services, the NHS, things that they all beat their chest about saying they're going to do, but when they get in power, they don't do a damn thing about it. So in November, Bercow revealed that contrary to relentless media accusations, he did not believe the Labour leader, Jeremy Corbyn, was anti-Semitic, adding that I think people should be very careful about casting aspersions on other political parties. There are challenges of racism across society, and that does affect political parties. Bercow first was elected as a Tory MP in 1997 and became the Speaker of the House in 2009. Following Bercow's retirement last year, Boris Johnson refused to nominate him as per the centuries-old convention for elevation to the House of Lords. And once again, that is also worrying, because if you don't toe the party line and do what we say, you won't get rewarded. And thus now there is a very strong incentive for, rather than people to do what they believe is right, to toe the party line and do what they want, to do what they say to get rewarded. That once again pulls a potential brick from our ever so fragile democracy. And make no mistake, democracy is always a very fragile thing, and we must do everything we can to actually protect it. So, as I've warned before, I highly suspect that there will be quote-unquote improvements made to the House of Commons and maybe even the House of Lords. We'll have to see. Once again, the main thing that what we've seen, or what they seem to want to do, is increase the number of MPs. This, of course, wouldn't be increasing the number of MPs across the country, so that it's fair. It would be increasing MPs in, shall we say, Tory areas, where they can just split it in two and get 2 MPs for the price of 1. Thus taking Boris Johnson's total from 84 to 104, 105 or something like that. This should worry people. Boris Johnson is already trying to rig and potentially rig the next elections so that, you know, he can win before he's even started to have to campaign for it. That's what we're getting. And that's the deadly and dangerous thing about all this. You know, Boris Johnson and, again, his unelected, guy, Dominic Cummings, which, again, many Brexiteers complain to high heavens about the EU, but don't seem to have a single problem with Mr. Cummings coming in, writing policy, making changes to our government and our systems that, by the way, the EU couldn't actually interfere with, but again, Brexiteers seem to think they could, and here you have an actual unelected person making changes that you did not elect. Once again, the Brexiteers prove that they really didn't care about Brexit. It was just something and nothing for them, and that they don't really understand what they've done to this country yet. But they will. They will.